2025 is the year for content creators. Social media is exploding like never before, with more people than ever jumping on the bandwagon. But here's the kicker. How do you crank out enough content to stay ahead of the curve without drowning in a sea of AI copycat videos? The answer might surprise you, but I'm here to spill the tea. My name's Valentin. I'm a content marketer with way too many wedding films under his belt and enough failed short films to make you feel way better about your 2025 plans. And over the past 5 years, I've become obsessed with understanding the secrets of what storytellers on YouTube have been using to win. And what if I told you that the secret to beating the competition this year wasn't a top tier list of hooks or the 37 Mr. Beast titles you can add to the front of your video? And maybe the key to going faster is slowing down and doing things pretty old school. Not only is this gonna make your life way less stressful, but we're gonna talk about 5 practical ways to save you dozens of hours and make stuff that people actually want to watch. We're gonna help a real business do this to prove it's not rocket science. So stay tuned to the end of the video where I share a practical tip from one of my favorite influencers that so few people are doing that if you get it right, you've got a good chance of making a profit in 2025. Like you, I've probably watched too many videos with trendy tricks and AI clip selection tools that haven't really done anything besides overflood my page with content that nobody's really wanted to watch. And over the last year, I've decided to look at what was working in the 80s versus what's overflowing our feeds today. And the crazy thing is, it's exactly what the winners on social media are doing right now. And that simple strategy is putting big rocks first. The first time I heard about this concept was from Michael Hyatt talking about time management. Basically, it's putting the important stuff first in your calendar, and then all the small tasks start to fit in between. If you flip it the other way, it's a lot of work without any results. Sounds simple, but it takes practice. That's where the slowing down part comes in. So, how do we apply this to content creation? There are so many exhausting and useless little rocks to be distracted around making content. And we fill all our time with these AI efficiency hacks, but end up having little to no results from our hustle. Even if somehow you get 60 clips a week from your trendy, over-visually produced podcast, the content you made sounds nearly identical to every single AI clip that's out there. So fancy hooks aside, there's no real reason for anyone to care about the content that you didn't really care about making. Let's figure out how to put the big rocks of content creation first, then figure out how to amplify them with AI tools later. Those big rocks being finding your who, performance creative, location production, post-production process, and a community that actually cares. If you really want it, I can make another video on how to amplify all these tips with AI next time. But once you understand how to do it without AI, it makes the workload 10 times easier. So let's deliver on an earlier promise. We're gonna use a real business to figure this out. This is Thrive Coworking. They've done a great job of describing their mission to create a workspace that makes every day extraordinary. Inspired spaces infused with purpose and adventure. Whether you're an established enterprise or just getting started, discover flexible spaces and solutions to move your business forward. Because when we work together, we thrive. So the first tip to help our friends at Thrive make more social content is to start with your who. I first heard about this advice from Ryan Moran, the owner of Capitalism.com. And most of his content, he encourages entrepreneurs not to worry about following trends to stay ahead. Instead, he wants you to find a person you genuinely like seeing succeed and serve that person as a guide to their hero's journey. And if you choose who first, coming up with ideas is easy because you can Google or ChatGPT what they like, buy, or even watch. This takes exhausting trend chasing and turns it into a consistent path of serving a specific person whatever they want. It's commonly described as choosing a niche, but I think it's easier to understand as choosing someone you love to serve. With Thrive, their brand hero is the person who gets work done by being around people and wants to have some adventure along the way. So based on this, we can find content of people who love the same things. And this won't be easy if you don't love the people you're serving. But if you don't like them, save yourself some time and find someone that you do. And Gary Vee says it best. Obsession is the only reliable KPI to success. Quick tip if you want to go deeper, StoryBrand is another amazing book that goes into detail on how to become the guide of your customer's hero's journey. So we know who we're serving. How does it make it easy to make content about whatever we want? It gives us a huge advantage when trying performance creative. Performance creative is a market approach where every visual, copy, and design element is shaped not just by intuition, but also by tangible data to indicate its potential effectiveness. An amazing YouTube resource for this is Dara Denay, where she mainly focuses on stronger Facebook ad creative. But in my humble opinion, the way that paid and organic work is nearly identical. This is what all the big YouTubers are using to hack their way to the top. And here's the secret. Don't steal a good idea. Steal 30 great ideas and turn them into one great video. Everyone is scared of making copycat content. But if you aren't making winning content, your only goal right now is to get good at content. And if you write a song and have no musical training, no one's gonna enjoy your performance. But if you learn covers to songs that you already love, people are gonna want to listen. And you'll grow as an artist because of the muscle memory you developed through your hard work. And the lie we believe is that we're called to be Van Gogh on day one before we've ever painted a single stroke and gone through our own pain and growth. So let's build a quick performance creative deck for Thrive. First, we find 4 to 5 creators that are winning on their platforms. Then we take their top 6 posts and find ways to recreate them for our audience. You don't have to make exact copies. We examine them carefully. Take a look at their scripting, visual qualities, and titles. And remember, it's okay in the early stages to just make cover songs. And be careful not to get lost in the need to be Mr. Beast before your first 100 videos. As you do this, your muscle memory will grow. And you'll spend way less time coming up with ideas that nobody wants to watch. But you'll spend a lot more time posting content that you're genuinely proud of. And remember, what makes the content original isn't your good ideas, it's you. So we make something that's inspired by Cohatch, influenced by WeWork, but we make sure that every post inspires people to have adventures while working together. Keeping it really practical, every month spend about 2 to 5 hours finding 30 TikToks and 5 YouTube videos to inspire your content. And you can mix the formats of the content so that both perform better than the competition and are extra unique. I call this the TalkTube strategy, or UTIC if you're annoyed that week. Use this strategy to influence your video ideas, shot lists, thumbnails, scripts, everything. We just made 15 video ideas for Q1 and Q2 to fill our calendar. That's a whole lot of work done, but it's also a whole lot of work made. There's plenty of videos out there about batch shooting your content, so go search that after this video. The next thing we want to plan for is how are we going to shoot this content that we scheduled to batch shoot in 1 to 2 days. I want to be really clear. It doesn't matter if it looks cinematic. My buddies are making content with their phones and webcams that make more money and get more impressions than I ever will. Their focus has been on storytelling and scripting, and they're beating me every single time. But it's fun to make pretty content, so I'm going to give you an easy rule for shooting content efficiently and easily. Simple location, complex setup. Complex location, simple setup. Let's use my office as a simple location example. We want to do a talking head that's easy to hit one button and record about an upcoming whatever event for Thrive. Maybe do some fancy B-roll to keep it engaging. Since all of it's in one spot, we can spend a little bit more time and money to make it look exactly how we want. So when I've put work into my script, I can hit one button with my complex setup and have content that looks good and is easy to use every single time. Your production workflow is everything. It'll turn your 10-hour shoot day into your 30-minute two-tick wonder you've always dreamt about being. Here's a quick tip that'll work both for this setup and the next one we're going to talk about. A big source of light, the size of the source that's hitting you, makes your face look pretty. So make the light that's hitting you big. A window, a softbox, or light bounced against a white wall that's pretty big. And then try not to be too close to your background so that there's deep depth between you, the camera, the light, and the subject. Maybe you want to shoot in more than one location or your story's all over the place. That's totally fine. If you want to increase the complexity of your visuals, simplify the tools you're using so you don't have as many issues to have on the day. Visual interest comes from depth, and depth doesn't always mean blurry backgrounds. So if you want to shoot everywhere, just use your iPhone and a wireless mic. You'll have 20 fewer headaches and a story that people actually want to watch. I always fall into the trap that content needs to look amazing to compete, but I've been proven wrong time and time again by creators like Jimmy's World. He uses an Android to shoot all of his content and gets 100,000 views plus per video, just having fun and telling stories about stuff he genuinely loves. You can even use the iPhone method to record your content on an app like Riverside. Use a big window and a pretty background to simplify the workflow even further. I like shooting content because it's something I've poured thousands of hours into. But if you aren't prepared for the workload, take the simple path until you get good at what actually matters. Storytelling. And we've officially gotten to people's least favorite big rock that they usually try to AI over: post-production. Here's the short answer. Try 20 editors out on Fiverr, keep your favorites, and maybe look for a couple people on YouTube Jobs. Done. But if you want to save some cash, either learn how to use an editing software or use CapCut, or even just shoot your content raw on Instagram or TikTok, and get better slowly over time. If you want to feel less stressed about your takes and edits, break your content into lines. Finish that line, give it a beat, and do the next line. That way, if you mess up, you have a clean spot to edit. And if you do mess up, just pause and if you do mess up, just pause for a second and say that line again. Be less stressed, make more content, and have more fun. And we could go endlessly into post-production. So if you want a video about that in the future, leave a comment down below and we'll do that next time. So we're pumping out content ideas, we're getting it shot with dynamic visual hooks, we're having stress-free production days, and a post-production process that's finally nailed. What's the big secret fifth rock that I promised? It's building your mafia. This case study comes from a YouTuber named Eric, an old friend who was way better at making wedding films than I ever was. Now he's off breaking into Mr. Beast's house, getting millions of views on the weekly. A lot of people think he was lucky, but I got to see into his meeting rooms whenever he was tired of making 10 wedding films a week. Instead of getting stuck in his career, he took the same steps we've talked about right here. He decided who he was going to serve, found exactly what was working in the marketplace, balanced the style of the content to the workload that was needed to run his business, got a killer editor, and took some solid advice from other YouTubers. You can find those videos online too. To follow all that up, he did something I've taken great inspiration from. He built a community of young men who wanted to be a part of the Arak Mafia. He launched a killer Goofy product to them and hosted a mastermind to keep his content consistently fresh and grew like no one I've ever seen before. A lot of that he planned in a little meeting room in 2018, with a lot of improvisation in between. So, how do we do this for ourselves? ClickFunnels has built a fantastic community tool that I think is going to be a game changer for your audience and customers right inside ClickFunnels 2.0. The layout is essentially a clean and easy to use Facebook group. And this is a perfect middle of funnel to cultivate relationships with your audience through live streams, product giveaways, content ideation, questions, and audience collaboration. Joining is one of the easiest decisions you'll make this year. And I'm making sure you get a 14-day free trial so you can give it a test drive before you become a part of the ClickFunnels family. Let's see what Thrive does with the tools we set up for them to make content in 2025. If you want to make amazing content for your community with the ClickFunnels team, there'll be a link below in the description. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see another business help their customers take a series of super easy steps toward buying their products and services.